Hello guys and welcome to Brno, the Czech Republic here for the 7th race in this Formula A Project Cars career mode. We're just about getting ready for the first qualifying session here. It did pretty well during practice, so currently, I think if it stays dry, we have a good chance of actually landing some points here today. Unless, of course, we continue with the poor showing of form that seemingly has been plaguing us here for the past couple of races there. We started out pretty well, winning the first 2 races of the season there, and I think we got a podium finish after that. Then came Brands Hatch, ended up with us retiring there due to some chancy driving, and another podium finish at Barcelona, and then of course the complete travesty there at Monaco, which is best left forgotten there. But this is going to be our first qualifying lap here at Brno. This is the first time I've ever driven this track here, so it's completely new to me, and wouldn't you know it, we're on provisional pole here. Very surprising to say the least here. Like I said, this is the first time ever I'm driving this track, and what to say about the track, really? Kind of a strange one, not something that I'm quite used to. The first time I drove this one, I figured, all right, this is a little bit like Donington or a little bit like Brands Hatch, but actually, it's quite far from it, really. There are no chicanes here, for one, and also it seems like you rarely, if ever, drop below 3rd gear in any of the turns here, so I think you actually only use 1st and 2nd gear for the start, really. So anyway, this is going to be our final lap here in the qualifying session as we are running out of fuel, and we managed to improve on our time by 23 hundredths of a second. Well, it matters not, as it is still good enough for pole position here for tomorrow's race. And this time, as long as it stays dry, I don't think there's going to be any excuse whatsoever. We absolutely need to get back on form here, because obviously what we've been showing here the past couple of races has just not been good enough. We start on pole here. Christian Borgens is in 2nd, and Fabio, our teammate, re-emerging after an off day there at Monaco, in 3rd. So 3 red lights waiting for the green one here as we get off the gate here at Brno. A little bit of wheel spin there. Fabio gets a taste of our smoke there. Kind of holds him up a little bit. I'm not really sure what happened there. Seemed like he hit the brakes for some odd reason, but we are coming into the first turn here as the number 1 car. Somebody trying to cut the corner there, running off track. Usually it's mayhem here in the first couple of turns, but this is kind of a sweeping right-hander here, so it should be a little bit easier to navigate for the AI, I should think. But interesting to see here so far. We are leading the race here. Christian Borgens right behind us there, tangling with who I believe to be Javier Lopez, maybe? I'm not really sure. Coming into turn 7 here, the right-hander, this is a weird sequence of turns because, especially with a fuel-heavy car here, you don't really get the feeling like you're accelerating at any point, because you're just putting the foot down a little bit, then lifting your foot, not using the brakes or anything, so it sort of feels like you're coasting through the sequence of turns here, not going very fast at all, really. And if you have a look at the mini-map there, you can see that there's a car dropping behind the rest of the pack dramatically there. We had what appeared to be a little bit of a pile-up and then a single dot that just seemed to fall behind. So if I'm not much mistaken here, we already have the first car out of the race. Not really sure what happened. Coming up the hill here, I'm not sure if you noticed in the mirrors, but it appeared that we had another car off track, and as you can see on the mini-map there, we also have a breakup in the pack, so it would appear that there's quite a bit of drama going on behind us there. And if you look in the pit lane there, we actually already have 2 cars parked in there, meaning we have 2 cars that are out of the race at this point here. Why don't we go back and have a look at the opening lap here and see what happened behind us there. It's always difficult to make out. Somebody clipping the tires there, trying to cut the corner, and that cost him a right front tire there, right front wheel rather. And that obviously is the end of the race for him. Quite a bit of a miracle, actually, that nobody else crashes into him, and we only lose 1 car there. Somebody getting pushed off the track here, again hitting the tires, and again it costs a right front wheel there. So apparently those tires are getting pretty hard here. I'm not sure whether or not that was tweaked in patch 3.0, because that is the first time I see this. And the 3rd accident here, very next turn, again there's contact, somebody clipping the entire row of tires there, tires flying everywhere, and again it cost somebody a front wheel. So lots of drama on the opening lap there. Jumping right ahead to lap 5 here, we have been pushing for the first couple of laps here, trying to open up a nice gap down to Christian Borgens, who pretty much appears to be forming a line behind him there if you check out the mini-map. Also, if you look at our front left tire there, I'm not really sure what that means, but it does appear that we have excessive wear on that particular tire there. Why it's a different shade of green, I have no idea. Skipping right ahead to lap 12 here, we are pulling away from Christian Borgens in quite dramatic fashion there, and it appears as though he is holding up the other cars for some odd reason. I'm not really sure why they're not passing him there, but he's forming a huge line of about 5 or 6 cars right behind him. Last I saw him on the mini-map there, and as you can see there, our tire wear is not quite as great as I had hoped it would be. I was kind of expecting a little bit more out of my tires at this point here. The front left is really hurting, and we have about 7 laps to go for our first pit stop here as we jump to lap 20, and we are coming in for our hopefully only pit stop of the race here, and we really don't have too much of a choice here. That front left tire was pretty much in shreds at this point here, so we need a fresh set of rubber, and hopefully that's going to be enough to last us to the end of the race here. And as anybody who's ever played Project Cars will recognize the pit sequence here. Come on, guys, please just add some people. At least pretend like there's something going on.
Go, go, go.
Anyway, we are rejoining the track here. As you can see, Christian Borgens coming up on us hot and heavy here on the main straight, but we managed to squeeze out just ahead of him here by a couple of seconds, and that is pretty much the gap that we have on the AI cars here on this track. And I'm not really sure how to gauge this because I thought we were pretty close in qualifying there. I thought I pretty much struck it lucky with the 1:15 time there, and I think the number 2 car, Christian Borgens, was less than a second slower than I was. So I'm kind of surprised here as to why I am so fast in the race, seeing as I haven't done anything to change the overall AI difficulty here. Anyway, skipping ahead to lap 24 here, we are coming up on the first back marker here. It appears to be the car of Alan F here, so how the mighty have fallen since Dubai, it would seem. And coming out on the main straight here, this is probably going to be our best opportunity to pass these back markers here. As you know, these guys are blue flag resistant in a way that I can't possibly describe. Coming into turn 1, we make that move stick here and are still alive, so that's a good sign. Lap 24 here, we are right on the exhaust of Bert Ninhus here. He almost loses the car because of it. And obviously it's so very tempting to just put a move on one of these guys here heading into a turn. But this being Project Cars, I simply dare not do it, especially after the travesty there at Monaco. So we are going to be playing it safe here, waiting for the straight, making the move here, going down the inside, cranking on the curves, opening the rear wing, DRS, everything. That should be enough to get us past here, but he's surprisingly fast on the straight, so we need to go for a little bit of a dive bomb there, making the move stick, thankfully, and we survived yet another back marker. Jumping ahead to lap 30 here, coming up to lap Catalunya race winner Peter Monroe. Again, how the mighty have fallen, but we are not going to be in a position to get this done into turn 1, which is probably the best spot to overtake on this track here. So we just need to hang back here patiently, even though it's a little bit frustrating, because I simply dare not try and pass this guy heading into a turn and just have him put us out of the race here when we are 46 seconds ahead of the number 2 car here. We incidentally turns out to be Fabio there. Not really sure when he went into P2. Not sure what happened to Christian Borgens there. Anyway, heading out on the short straight here, coming down the inside of Peter Monroe, coming into turn 7. We make that move stick, but look at Peter Monroe there, just sticking to his racing line. Doesn't really give a hoot who's trying to pass him there. He taps our rear right, could easily have put us off track and into the barrier and ended our race there, but thankfully no damage, and thankfully we managed to stay alive here. But that is really infuriating. Come on, guys, just programming some very, very basic blue flag AI, that really can't be too difficult, can it? Skipping ahead to lap 34 here, coming up on another set of back markers here, and this is going to be posing an entirely different problem here because there is probably no way we're going to be able to pass all these three guys here on the main straight and into turn one. And also these guys are fighting for position, meaning they are pretty much loose cannons and accidents waiting to happen here. We need to pass these guys. Going down one, Andy Smith passing him as well. His teammate is out of the race, by the way, and ending up right behind Florian Masleit here, but we are not in a position to pass him. Trying to go down the inside here, coming out of the turn, and I'm not really comfortable trying to pass him here. I can't make the move stick for one, but the thing is, I don't want Andy Smith rear-ending me here because Florian Masleit is holding me up, so I need to pass this guy ASAP, but there's no place to do it in a safe manner, unfortunately, so we're going to be trying the same move we did on Peter Monroe here, heading into turn 7, try and brake a little later than Florian Masleit. This is probably not going to be too pretty here, but we make the move stick, no drama whatsoever here, and we managed to survive yet another lap here. Jumping ahead to lap 39 here, coming up on yet another set of back markers, but it matters not. This is the final lap. We're going to be taking the win here at Brno today. No competition whatsoever, but then again, we didn't make any mistakes either, so kind of happy with this one, although I thought it could have been a little bit closer than this. Anyway, we take the win here. Fabio, our teammate, taking P2 there, followed by Brian Herring, who rounds off the podium in third. So a very, very good day for the Auto Rebel team there. And looking at the championship race here, we are still leading that one, 105 points ahead of Anthony Lowe in second with 59 points, and Fabio, our teammate, in third, 58 points. At any rate, guys, thank you very much for watching here today. If you enjoyed this, please don't forget to leave a like or subscribe to this channel for more Project Cars action, and I'll be seeing you soon enough. Bye-bye.